back to day 11 and a half of Disney Plus reviews. My name is Robin. Today I am talking about Atlantis, Milo's Return. So I know that originally I said I wasn't going to do animated movies, and that is mostly true. To watch Atlantis because I wanted to. And so then I decided might as well watch the sequel, and I am glad that I've seen it, because now I know what happens. So, spoiler-free summary. It's kind of Scooby-Doo-like. Feels like they put 3 episodes of Scooby-Doo together with the Atlantis cast in them, and we go on some adventures, and you see Atlantis. The end. I feel like that was a pretty good summary. More in-depth summary with spoilers/commentary. It looks very Scooby-Doo-like. I liked Scooby-Doo. As a kid, I liked it. I liked the live-action movies. Also, this is obviously animated, but it feels like they put some Scooby-Doo episodes together. It feels like separate adventures with the same characters, mostly. Like, you have the main cast. They kind of trade out, but Kida rides over some lava. Like, she rides her fish vehicle while lava whales are spouting lava, and she has something that looks like a lava platypus alligator, but apparently it's a lava dog. His name is Abby. He eats rocks as treats when there's a problem in the world, and so they call in Milo and Kida because they think it might be Atlantean related, because there's something that's like a kraken, and Milo's friends, Mr. Whitmore and co., think that it's like the Leviathan that they encountered on the way into Atlantis. So Kida's like, I will go help. Atlantis will be fine. But when the people come in, when Milo's friends come in, Mola's like, oh, so pretty. And then he's like, yeah, it's amazing what a little paint and spackle will do. It was crystal magic, but close enough. So they're back in their original clothes. Odd, because they're wealthy, but apparently we're just kind of skipping that, and they don't want to be, which is good to know that they like their jobs. They like what they're doing. Mr. Whitmore feels 20 years younger with the crystal that Milo gave him, but he's like, I'm still pretty old, which is funny. There was one point where Kida was talking, and you were seeing Kida, and she was supposed to be talking to someone, but her mouth does not move. She's like eating. It's clearly not the first movie. Kida does not understand how a lot of things work, which makes sense. She lives in a literal bubble, or she did. So Milo's explaining life preservers, and he's like, oh yeah, it saves somebody's life. And so she puts it around his neck, and she's like, oh, like our crystals, it keeps us alive. And he's like, well, no, you throw it to somebody. And she says, oh, like a game. No, you only throw it to somebody if they're drowning. And she's like, does that not make it hard for them to play the game? It does, if it was a game. So we move on. They're like, oh no, the Kraken's in our ship. And Vinny, yeah, the Kraken's in their ship and they have to escape. Vinny, right before that, was talking about the bombs that he made. So he's like, yeah, it's a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of this, and oregano. You can't make a bomb without oregano. Makes a very nice boom. And then the Kraken comes in and they have to leave, but Milo and Kida don't launch, and Water's coming in their little sub-pod guy, and then their friends show up right before they get eaten. Then they go to this like fishing village. No surfing there. And they live way up on the cliff. So it's very foggy and smells bad because it's moldy everywhere because of the fog. So we meet a mysterious guy who looks like an old white-haired Abraham Lincoln. His name is Edgar Volgood, the magistrate of the town. He wants them to leave. He's like, it's pretty at somewhere. There's somewhere for you to stay at somewhere. And they're like, all the same, we'll stay here tonight and leave tomorrow. So he's like, fine, here's the innkeeper's place. So at first, I thought they called her Inga, but then they called her Inger. So Miss Eliason, she stares blankly into the distance, and it looks like she's in a trance the whole time. But apparently that's just kind of how her eyes work. She's like, don't stay here. Get out as soon as you can. Edgar sucked all the happiness out of the world. It's no place to raise my little one. She's like, some say he made a deal with the devil. He got to have eternal life, but he forgot to ask for eternal youth. So he's just this old guy hanging out. And so if you're putting all pieces together. He kind of did. He made a deal with, people call the Kraken the devil fish. So he made a deal with the Kraken for eternal life, but not eternal youth. And it kind of sucked the life out of the town, which is sad and unfortunate for them. So it's a very dreary place. But at the end, spoiler, it's pretty and happy and bright and cheerful and not foggy, and people can see things. But no one can leave the town that lives there. So like Milo and co can, but nobody else can. So they're going somewhere, like following Edgar, and Mole is a smart little guy. He's like, this ground is decomposed granite, so we're heading for and then it's a cliff. And so they all fall down, and Audrey falls down further, and then she like jumps for Milo to help her get up. She misses, she falls, but then Mole catches her by popping out of a rock. Edgar wants Miss Eliason to burn their possessions because he thinks that they're dead now. They are not. They show up and they're like, no thanks. So then they ask her more about what's happening, and that's when she's like, the souls of the people, the life of the town. That's pretty rough. Milo and the other people keep calling it a kraken instead of a kraken, and that bothers me. Daniel deducted like a point for that because it's kraken, not kraken, I think, and he thinks. So they're looking at a different point. Well, a little further in the story, they're looking for a hidden place because Edgar has to get supplies somehow for the village. Because at this point, we think that Edgar is controlling the Kraken, and he's not, but we think that's what's happening. So they're like, he has to have supplies somewhere. People don't come, people don't go. Like, what's happening? So the Kraken is crashing ships and getting the supplies from ships for their fishing village. Even though there aren't fish there, all the fish left. I don't blame them. If there's a Kraken, I wouldn't want to be there either. So Mo was like, the answer is staring at you right in the face. Regard how an igneous boulder has been futilely disguised as sedimentary rock. They might as well paint a road sign. His friend Kida's like, they look the same to me, but Mole knows. So they found the supplies. Apparently Mole was raised by naked mole rats, maybe? And Kida's like, that makes sense. So we see Edgar standing by the water. We see them bringing in supplies from the crashed ship. And Edgar's eyes glow green. And the water bubbles, and then the Kraken comes out, and it puts down some supplies and like kind of strokes his face, pets his beard on the way out, which is weird. It was weird. And the workers also look pretty hypnotized. They're like, we need to distract Edgar so that we can break his concentration and the monster can like leave, basically. And so Vinny is like, tickling would be good. Nobody can concentrate when they're being tickled. Or a bomb. A bomb is a very good distraction. It is. But then the monster, then Edgar starts controlling Audrey, except it's not Edgar. It's the Kraken. So her eyes are glowing like the yellowish green. The monster wraps around her and kind of is taking her. Milo crashes into Edgar, but the monster keeps going for Audrey. So then you're like, oh, is it not Edgar controlling it? It's not. So then you're like, oh, the Kraken must be controlling people. So then he's like, plan B for bomb. So they blow up the ceiling. He like lights the dynamite, and somebody's like, the ceiling. And he's like, you should maybe tell me that before I light it. But then they get Audrey back. Mole bowls through village people with his body. Then they're in their little sub pods, and Mole and Vinny are in the same one, which is convenient because the Kraken starts controlling Vinny. So he has the yellow-green eyes and like kind of shoots at his friends some with the sub pods. That's not good. So Mole hits him in the head to distract him after he tries to shoot his friends. But then he gets all better. And then Vinny has a great idea. He's like, let's go for the sub pod, because Kida and Milo's sub pod had sunk and it had all of its explosives. So he's like, let's shoot the sub pod, and then those will all blow up and we'll destroy the Kraken. Yay! So then Kraken disappears, village is back to normal. You find out that Vinny had another flower shop explode, so now he might move on to a laundromat. Then we move to the southwest. There is a sandstorm of killer coyotes. Scratched me up like a 2 sizes too small wool sweater on a hot afternoon, said Sam McKean, the old guy who got hurt by the dust coyotes. So that's a whole big thing. Our friends pass the same guy 2 times, and then he stands in front of their vehicle. So finally they pick him up. His name is Chikashi. We find out he is the Nishoni wind spirit. He accepts a ride from them. He knows the Crystal Guardian, so that's pretty snazzy. And he says, quote, "And like Crystal Guardian, we will also protect our sacred beliefs from outsiders. Those who would plunder our lands to betray our secrets will answer to the ancient forces of the desert," end quote. Sand coyotes are following them. The guy gets red glowing eyes, and then he disappears. So the reason we're out in the Southwest is because Sam McKean said he was attacked by the dust coyotes, and that's not a normal occurrence in the Southwest or anywhere. So he had found a crate of old pottery, and they didn't want their stuff to be messed with, basically. So they're like stopping them. So they find, and Mole says, "Dust doggies, go away." And I thought that was funny. So then they end up back at the trading post that they'd been at earlier, where a man named Carnaby had stolen the crate from Sam McKean that Sam McKean had taken from a cave. And so then the dust doggies kind of try to go after him. Well, they will. So they find out where the cave is. So they go in, and Milo's like, "None of this should exist. Not in the same place. It's the blending of every culture from Idaho to Peru." Wrote that quote down because it said Idaho. But also, that's a lot of different things. Mole figures out where it is because he loves dirt and stuff. So he can track stuff like that. And then Kida's like, "The Atlanteans were here," because the Crystal Guardian was an Atlantean, and his teaching influenced all of those cultures from Idaho to Peru. Pretty snazzy. Then the bad guy Carnaby is like, "Yeah, you're not going to get away with this discovery. I'm going to take it." So he made a prairie grass sleeping gas. Yeah, prairie grass sleeping gas. So he can keep everything. He ties them up, and he's going to use dynamite to trap them in the cave. A cave. So then they're like, "We can use Abby, the lava dog, to untie us because he'll eat anything." So he kind of gets out of his own rope. Abby does. And then Milo gets him to bite open his rope. And then he's going to go untie his friends. But they're like, "No, stop the dynamite." So Milo goes out and tries to get the dynamite. But then Carnaby tackles him so he can't get it. And the dynamite goes, the cave is closed. And he's like, "No, Kida." And then the bad guy's about to smash Milo with a pot, but then his friends escaped, and they save him. And then Milo returns the pot. And then we see Chikashi, the spirit, and we're like, "What happened to Carnaby? He is with us now," which is a scary answer. So then he says, "You seem like good people. I'm sorry. The secrets of the ancient ancestors must remain a secret. You will not be allowed to leave." And Kida says they also have a great secret that they don't tell, so they should get to live. But they won't tell him the secret. So he's like, "Very well, you have decided your fate." And then they get sucked up in a coyote dust storm, and you're like, "Oh no!" And then they wake up. Not wake up. They are put down on the ground with really pretty surroundings. They're way up high, but really pretty. And then he's up there and says, "If you had told me your secret, I would have known I couldn't trust you with mine." And then Kida's all like, "Oh no, secrets, blah, 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 blah." And he's like, "The secret you carry is neither good nor bad. A strong leader must have the wisdom to know when to share that knowledge." So deep. And then we go to our third story. Whitmore had a break-in at his house. It was an ancient Norwegian spear. It's this guy who was named Eric Hellstrom, who went a little crazy. He thinks that he is Odin. He bought a castle and named his castle Asgard. The media dubbed him the modern Odin, but when the stock market crashed, he lost everything, including his mind. And of course, the spear that he stole is an Atlantean spear. And then they're all saying different names at the end of the world. And then Kida's like, "Mavermach, the end of Atlantis." Their windshield wipers and Iceland snow seem accurate because we go to Iceland, and then the castle is floating, and then a mountain thing stands up, and it's like a giant abominable snowman, and the plane goes down, and Mole kisses something because they're on the ground because he misses the dirt, and then his lips get stuck. Then he blows off the giant snow guy's arm, with a dynamite deal, and then giant guy magics his arm back. The snow guy blows on them and freezes them, and then Odin thaws them with his sword in his castle. And then he thinks that Milo is Loki the trickster. He thinks Kida is his daughter, Brunhilde the Valkyrie. She takes the spear from him, but he gets it back. And then everybody except Kida gets tossed out, and they need Mole to dig. And Mole's like, no, yeah, okay. Kida wakes up dressed in warrior clothes. And she's like, fine, yeah, I'm your daughter. Uh-huh, let's go. Then he explodes the door and says, just call me the doorman, which was funny. They are sledding with the door, like on the door, and Milo kind of falls off the back, and he's like, pull me up. And they're like, no, Milo, we'll use you as a rudder. So they use him to steer. I mean, in the last movie, he said that he looked like a zipper. So really, might as well be a rudder for a sled. Odin wants to destroy the world and start anew. Not the friendliest thing. He thinks that Kida is Loki when she tries to stop him in the room filled with lava. Because lava's everywhere, apparently. Abby tries to fight Odin's dog. Abby gets tossed into the lava. But he is a lava dog. So he kind of gets back out, bites the dog's tail, and the dog runs away. It's like a dog-wolf deal. Milo and Odin fight over the spear. Kida goes to get it, but the lava monster gets it and goes out to the snow monster. And they both hold it, and the lava zaps up with his lava, so the world looks all lava-y, fiery, and the snow guy freezes the earth. And then there's an avalanche, and stuff goes boom, and then they fight. And Kida gets the spear, the crystal and this, like Kida's crystal necklace, and the spear from Atlantis together make the castle crash to the ground on top of the lava and snow monsters. Kida takes the spear to Atlantis. And she's talking to her friends, and she's like, blah, 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 blah. I saw the knowledge of Atlantis, touched a tribe of surface people, and made them great healers and teachers. So nice. So Kida's seeing that Atlantis's power and knowledge and what they have to offer, their culture, can make other people better. So she's like, the brightest light is worth nothing if hidden in a cave, because her dad had hidden their crystal in a cave underground. But she's like, nope, share it. I see what he was doing, but that's not the right way. So she says, let us share our light with the world. And then she puts the spear to the ground, and magic happens. The spear zaps up to the crystal, which spins faster, and it's like, and it activates the giant men who burst, and then we Atlantis, burst up from the lava surrounding that we were in to the surface. And they see the sun, and it's bright. And there's a kid who's like, what's that? Is that the crystal? And Kida's like, no, that's the sun. And then suddenly there's a narrator at the end who's like, and we all lived happily ever after. It's not what he said, but that was paraphrased. So that's pretty much everything that happens in that movie in less than 20 minutes. Daniel said, I didn't watch enough of Milo's Return to rate it. He kind of did. From the brief flashes, though, it seemed no higher than a 5.0, as it seemed like an episodic TV show. I agree with that. It kind of seems like they wanted to make a TV show about Atlantis, which would have been cool and also would have made sense with the animation, because the animation wasn't quite as effortful is not a word. But like, it's the second movie, so we know, we've seen pictures of the first Aladdin versus the second one. The second one you don't put as much into. Also, the voice actor who was Milo is different in the first movie and the second movie. So that's fine. I think in the first movie it was Michael J. Fox, and in the second movie it is not him. So I said it felt like I was watching Scooby-Doo, in case you haven't heard me say that yet. Admittedly, I did like Scooby-Doo as a kid, but that's not what I signed up for with Atlantis, and that's not what the first movie made me think I was going to get. I gave the plot a 4 because it just felt like they put Atlantis characters into Scooby-Doo situations, and it was 3 separate things, so it felt even more like 20-minute Scooby-Doo episodes. I get that they were leading to a bigger thing, but that's also something you can do in a TV series. It just didn't feel as much like a cohesive movie as the first one did. I gave the characters a 7 because some of them, like Mole, get much more character development. Like, Mole talks more, you get more background. I felt like I knew them a little more, but they made Kida not as smart seeming as they did in the first movie. Also, Milo has a different voice actor, and that's pretty clear at the beginning. Like he does well, but it's different. And they said Kraken instead of Kraken, and I didn't like that. It's not Kraken, it's Kraken. Overall, I'll give it a 4. It's a fine kids movie. It's not as good to watch as an adult. The original was good to watch as an adult, but this one was not as good. I think that my niece will like it because she likes Scooby-Doo and she likes the first Atlantis movie. So that's cool, but it was okay. So that was day 11 and a half, Atlantis, Milo's Return. I am hopefully going to review another movie today because I have it. I'm ready. We're just going to see how long it takes me to do it. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about Atlantis, Milo's Return, and I will see you later. Bye.